In this particular chapter, we'll talk about an SSL load balancer. Now, the only difference between an SSL and a TCP load balancer is that in the SSL load balancer, in the front end, there will be an SSL termination. So the SSL termination for our particular application would happen in the front end. Now, you can also have an SSL between your front end and the backend service as well. But for this particular example, we'll not be doing it. We'll also be using the same instance template that we had used in our previous chapter, and we'll be using the same startup script. So again, this particular part, if you want to have a closer inspection, you can just view the previous chapter or the previous lecture that I had created. Now the link to that I will give over here. Again, with this particular instance template, we'll create an instance group, and this particular instance group, we will send it to the backend service of our SSL load balancer. So this particular part is already done. We'll concentrate on creating our load balancer. Okay, let's start by creating a load balancer. Let's click on create load balancer. Now here we'll choose the TCP load balancing again. Let's click on start configuration. So here what you need to do is you need to choose multiple regions and click on continue. So here the first thing that you can do is you can also give a TCP protocol between your backend and your front end. But for this particular example, let's just leave it as TCP, and you just need to create your backend instance group and put it into your backend service. So we'll be using the same instance group that we had created in our previous chapter. Now you can go back to that particular video again. The link again I will give in the description below, so you can just go check that out. Again, the port number would be 80, and we'll leave all the configuration as it is, and we'll also add the health check. So once you've done with the backend, you need to go to the front end, and here the change that you need to make is that the protocol here would be SSL, and here you need to create a new certificate. So you can just open this and click on create a new certificate. So here you can either upload your own certificate or you can ask Google to create a certificate. So for this example, we'll just click on create Google managed certificate, give a name for this. Let's just call this as my app SSL, and here you need to specify your particular domain. So my domain would be very lazy coders.in. so this is a domain that you should possess, and let's click on create. And that's about it. So let's click on create, but before that, let's give a name for our app load balancer. Let's just call this as my load balancer, and let's create a SSL load balancer. Let's click on create. Okay, once your load balancer is up, let's go to our load balancer and let's again copy this particular IP address and let's paste it in our DNS. Let's go to our DNS again. So this is basically the DNS for my domain. Let's click on edit, and let's paste the value of the load balancer, and let's click on save. And once that is done, let's wait for a few minutes for these changes to reflect. Now if you open your load balancer again, you can see that for the front end there's something called as a certificate. You can just open this and you can see that it's still in the provisioning state. So it takes around 5, 10, 15 minutes for this to become active. So meanwhile, let's just wait and let's see when this particular status becomes active. So I'll see you in some time. And after around 10-15 minutes, you can see that your certificate is currently active. And if you go back to your URL, you can see that there's an SSL certificate that is associated with your particular domain. So that is how you can connect your SSL certificate to your domain and create a load balancer along with it. I hope this was useful. I will see you in the next.